like I said, we need to understand what our plan is. What is the strategy? We've been talking about it for some time, but it behoves on us to keep talking about it. So, like I indicated, I have two people who are going to help us have that conversation. Before I introduce them to you, let me take you to past interventions that did not work, like we brought you yesterday. Just a very quick highlight of that, so we have an idea what we're dealing with. From yesterday, let's bring you those details right now. Okay, I'll give you that details later, but I have in the studio here Julius Azumah. Julius Azumah is a deputy director in charge of sanitation. He's an administrative director, waste management department, Accra Metropolitan Assembly. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Also here in the studio with me is Ama Ofori Enchi. She's the executive secretary of the Environmental Services Providers Association. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And they are the grouping of all of the companies responsible for keeping the country clean. I have the information from yesterday. Now let's take a very quick look at it. Yesterday, what are the interventions we've put in so far? What did they achieve, really? 2004, like I indicated, former President John Kufuor went on the national sanitation policy. He said it would become operational that year with an emphasis on four main components: inspection, compliance, enforcement, hygiene, education, and pest control. Not much was achieved, like we said yesterday. Let's fast forward from 2004. Away from 2004. And 8, during the election campaign, President Mills promised to make sanitation his priority if elected as president. Well, part of his 100 days in office, he reiterated the commitment and said he was going to use that period to clean the country, especially Accra. The outcome, not much. The objective actually failed. November 2014, President John Mahama promised to install liquid and solid waste treatment plants in major cities to manage the filth. On the 1st of November, Ghanaians were led by the president, through a cleanup campaign. That didn't work either. July 2015, government finally imposes a ban on light plastic materials such as, the ones used in packaging, sugar, etc. Not much was achieved after 2 years with that either. 2017, fast forwarded, draft policy to establish a national sanitation authority was completed. The Water Resources, Works and Housing Minister Kofi Adda was in charge of that, and the outcome is that it's still early days yet. Let me have this conversation with my two guests. You're welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start with you, Mr. Azumah. We've heard about. I've interacted with the AMA, the Accra Mayor. We've spoken about this over and over again. At this point, we're expecting that there is a progress report that you can give us as far as the strategy we are employing to deal with the sanitation issue is concerned. Can you briefly give us what has happened since, let's say, January, in terms of the necessary interventions that you've put in place?
Thank you very much. I would say much has been done since the inception of the new government under the leadership of Honorable Mohamed Ajisoa.
Okay.
The first to talk about is, before he took over, we had about 42 hips scattered over the city.
Okay.
And as we speak now, we've been able to clear all those hips. There were some illegal dump sites that were scattered. People were just dumping anyhow. We've been able to stop that to some extent, large extent. As we speak now, we have a unit called Sanitation Rapid Response Unit, which when he came to power, we actually gave out a line where you can call and give us information about filth in any area of the metropolis. And then that unit is responsible to go immediately and get it cleared. So about some motorcycles, some trucks that are there. In terms of policy guidelines, as we speak now, we have a strategic plan which we developed to tackle the waste system of AMA for the first, that is the short term, medium term, and the long term. We are working with government to look at getting the necessary resources to be able to do that.
The necessary resources, what are they?
The resources we need, you know, waste management is capital intensive. We need landfill sites. We need transfer stations. We need the equipment in terms of trucks, in terms of the machines, and we need some other necessary accompaniment to be able to do that.
I see. The last time I spoke to him again, he said that you're looking at management, because some people have actually said that we're not even managing waste. What we're doing is just collecting, keeping, and just dumping it somewhere, and that we're really not managing. When we talk about management, waste management, you're managing it to give you something. You're managing it such that it is, you're making the system more efficient. So you collect it and then it becomes someone else's rubbish. That isn't really management.
Yes.
He said that you were implementing some sort of real management where you are sorting out the waste, etc. Is there an update on that?
Yes, there is. The first to that line is what we are doing at the schools now. You know, we've initiated a pilot program at one of the sub-metros, that is Suklote, where from the school level, we're sorting our waste so that at least we can get it turned into other things. If you come into the waste management yard now, we have also started sorting out cardboard boxes. And the heap, if you see it, and we tell you we've done that within just 3 months, you'll be surprised. So there are many things. We are also collaborating with other people who are supporting us in plastic waste segregation, and it's yielding a lot of results. So I believe that you can do it one day, but what we are doing now gradually, we are on course and we are getting there.
So far, you can't do it now, but there has to be a plan that we can follow. Let me bring you in, Amma. We know that management, that is your area. If the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, for example, can't give us a clear plan, what do you think? And I believe that there's things that are already happening in your area. Tell us about some of the things that are happening in terms of management, sorting the waste out and making sure that the waste generates money, like the minister was saying. What's happening?
Okay. For us as service providers, you should also bear in mind that we work closely with assemblies. With other assemblies, we are not there. So whatever we do it closely in partnership with all the metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. And our operations, more or less, are determined by them. We all know that with where waste management has gotten to, we've gotten to the stage where there should be value addition. But when we are talking about value addition, we need a policy framework. In addition to the policy framework, we also need the environment where the service providers can be supported. For instance, in the advanced countries, what happened? There's recycling. With Ghana, our waste management, what is missing in the chain now, the value chain now, is the treatment part.
Okay.
So what we need,
where we're treating the waste to generate
like
whatever
we need to do more value addition. But with the value addition, you can't do recycling and make profit. Do you get it? If I want to take out all the plastics, what am I going to do with it? So this is where government policy and interventions comes in, and then the assemblies, the various assemblies, per their needs and what they want to get out from the waste. Then we, as service providers, already there in partnership with them, then can now come up with solutions.
So does it mean that if they don't tell you, if they don't determine that, okay, we want to do this with the waste, you can't advise them?
We've been doing it. But you see, it has to scale up. It has to be on a national scale now.
I get the sense that you're struggling. You're struggling to
you see,
let's say.
Let me explain it to you. We need a policy framework. For instance, if where we've gotten to now, they said Ghana, we are going into waste segregation. Every household segregates your waste then that is a policy dimension. That's a policy direction.
So without the policy, you can't work.
When the waste is segregated and I go and pick the plastics, I know because there's the infrastructure there, I know where to send the plastics.
Okay.
Right now, I pick the plastics. Where do I send it? There's recycling going on as I speak, but it is not on an industrialized large scale where we can exploit. So in a nation where we are looking at more job creation, this is an opportune time for us to take advantage of the waste management sector, the sanitation sector, and exploit. We can create more jobs. You see, we all agree on the value addition.
Yeah, as for the jobs, we
all agree on the value
What I want to
addition.
understand really is where we are. I mean, you know, you mentioned that the chain, if you look at the chain, what's missing is the treatment.
Yes.
So I'm interested to know where we are at the moment. So you're saying that without a policy framework, it's not possible?
For instance, let me give you a typical example. The Plastic Waste Manufacturers Association, the plastic sector, due to that, they engaged government and then they came up with the plastic levy. With the plastic levy, there's a fund. The essence of that fund is for that fund to come back to the private sector so that they can come up with more research, expand some form of innovation. Then we can put all these recyclable plastics back to good use. Here we are. After advocating,
I must be very frank with you. I'm lost. I'm lost in the sense that it sounds very abstract to me, the whole structure and what's happening.
Let me say.
Okay, are you able to speak to the framework that she speaks about? Because it appears that if you don't have that framework, it doesn't matter exactly the policy framework. It doesn't matter what happens. We're still going to go back to square one.
Yeah, you see, the policy framework of any nation or any government is the aspiration. Where you want to get.
So let's deal with the Ghana and the AMA bits. What is it that is happening there?
So now, for instance, what is saying, if I should pick in our new contract that we have with them, we're saying that you would have to do some recycling.
They will have to do the sorting.
Yes,
the
and that was in their contract. So the first year, there's a level you have to go, second year, like that.
Okay.
In that case, they are making effort towards that. But if we had not put that one there, then they would be doing their own thing the way they want to do it.
But their concern is that even if you're telling us to sort, we sort it out. But where do we even take it? That's another
that is where
problem.
I want to come again. The issue then is that the people are now sorting. I get to the point. But if they sort, what next?
Yes, so you tell us what next.
Yeah, what next is what we have not been able to do very well. Okay. Because it takes resources. It takes some funds to be able to do that. And we don't have, we at the assembly.
You are the AMA, you
yes,
don't have.
We don't have the fund now.
So what are you doing to get?
So that's why I'm saying we are in consultation with government to do
that sounds like a very bureaucratic term that doesn't really explain it.
You cannot run away from it.
Fair enough. Bureaucracy is good.
Because you see,
it serves as a check.
Yes.
But then you see when you tell the people of Ghana that it's a what's the word again?
We're in consultation.
We're in consultation with government.
Yeah.
Yes, break it down.
You see, for instance,
where are we with the consultation?
For instance, I told you when you enter the waste management department now, the volume of cardboards that we pack there, I can tell you we're running into 500 to 600 metric tons. That is there. It has not gone out because the off-taker, the one who will want to use that one to produce something, tells you my capacity is small, so I cannot take that quantity you have gathered. You're getting the point.
But there's only one person?
There's no only one person, but all of them, when you go, they have that limited capacity.
So combined. So with your people combined, you can't take care of how many tons did you say again?
I'm talking about 600 metric tons. Yeah, somebody's capacity to produce in a week is just maybe 20.
If we put all your members together, you're not able to deal with, for example, just what they have in their yard.
They are not producing. They are not using that cardboard to produce anything. So if you want them to produce something with it, then it means that you must create the fund. You must create the resources for them to tap in and come out with the factories, the processing plants, so that they can turn this one. That's why she's saying that if we are looking at job creation now, as we are talking about now, which is the big vision of this current government, it means that we should be able to come out with some funding that people can use it to just concentrate on turning waste into valuable assets.
She
and
said
in
the
that
funding
case,
is
we can
already
we can get there. I don't know whether the funding is there.
Yes, it's
I was talking about the plastic levy fund.
yes, that's there. That's available, right?
It's been in government. It was collected by government. It's with government. Government has not released it back onto the
so
people.
it comes back to the consultation with
That is
governments
it.
that you mentioned.
So
Where
you
are
see,
we at with the consultation?
We are still there. We have not finalized. So it's a system. It's a progressive system.
Do you appreciate that from what you've just said? It's created a sense of hopelessness in me, because I'm like, okay, when you say like, and I'm sure for my viewers as well, they're like, we're not. It doesn't look like we're making a headway.
My dear, we are making a headway.
We are.
We are. We are making a headway because we have to go back to our history and look at how we've been doing things. Formerly people collect waste, dump it anyhow and go. Now we're saying that whatever waste you make, you pay for it. So we made some step ahead. Now we gradually doing sorting. We are doing sorting. We are moving there. The next thing is that the sorting that we are doing, we are having challenges. What do we do to make sure that we overcome the challenges? And if you're able to overcome that challenge, then it means that we are moving faster and going forward.
I see.
So we are not lost at all. We are not lost at all. You can agree with me that some time ago, some years ago, when you walk through the big cities in Accra, or for instance, the heaps that you see, you don't see the same now. Even though the city is not entirely clean, but we are doing it some level. Gradually, we are moving forward. So for me, I am very optimistic that things are better.
As for optimistic, you don't have an option. You will have to be optimistic because you are there. But we on the other side who are paying the taxes, our expectation is that we want to see concrete things being done on the ground. Let me find out from you, Omar. The president's vision of making Accra the cleanest city. It sounds like a big deal. Do you think it's achievable with all that you have seen over the years, having worked in the industry? I know you say yes, but be very sincere and tell us how you think it's achievable.
It's achievable, and I think for the first time we are seeing so much political will, and then for he himself to have set a target for himself to say 2020, let's all give him the benefits of the doubt, and believe me, it is achievable. So then, if we are not able to overcome our sanitation challenges as a nation, we cannot even be called a developed nation.
Overcoming it means that we're working on the behavior.
Yes.
That's what the president said.
Yes, it's part of it. Okay. But when it comes
are you doing something about it?
Yeah, when it comes to the waste management chain, and then when we talk about waste management, it's not only limited to the solid waste. We even have liquid waste, and then currently, as far as Ghana, the biggest challenge now is the open defecation. You see,
so it boils down to attitude and how we can change it. Yeah. In your organization, what is your organization doing about this? I mean, at the end of the day, it's work for you. I mean, you get the money for people's attitude not change, but then there's still work for you.
We do not get any money for attitude not change.
No, I mean, you get money from people's negative attitude, maybe, if I should put it that way, dumping refuse.
We provide services, and then we get paid for our services.
I know.
And then as part of our corporate social responsibilities, we are the secretariat, we do a lot more advocacy. That's why you see me a lot more often.
Certainly what I was getting to.
Yes.
So I want to find out what is the direction of your advocacy? Are you doing anything about behavioral change? How is it going?
Currently, what we've done is to target some schools. I know some of my members are already doing segregation in schools. We have clubs, we have the Zoom kids, the Jakarta who has done the recycling at the Osu cluster of schools. The expert secretariat, we are doing something with Baoleshi cluster of schools, even with this the coming World Toilet Day. Okay. We are going to have a debate with the kids, do hand washing, and then show them segregation of waste. Okay. So as part of our awareness creation, we do a lot more engagement. Any opportunity we get, we always go out there to let people know that sanitation is a shared responsibility.
Okay.
As a citizen, I have a role to play. The service provider has a role to play. Likewise, government. And if we can all play our role, and then be responsible, I think it will go a long way to help us as a nation.
Okay.
The attitude is key, and then enforcement. And I think what we need, and what I'm so excited about with this new government and the president's vision of making Accra the cleanest city in Ghana, I think he's even gone further to create a ministry solely for that. So if we can get the ministry to implement all that the president said, I'm sure by 2020 we'll be able to achieve that. If not
2020.
even, yes, even if not all, Ghana should be clean. Accra should be very, very, very clean.
Okay.
So all that I want to add is we would be very grateful for us as ESPA. We are all loved. We are in support of the campaign that has come out.
Okay, you don't have a choice,
support.
actually.
No, we are in full support.
Yeah, you don't have a choice, but to be in full support.
The president made a promise to us, and that is what I want to reiterate on, that they are going to ensure that they equip the service providers with more modernized equipment, so that we can also improve on our service delivery, so that our service delivery will now be very efficient. So we are also looking forward to that, so that we can also
we are looking forward to tangible achievements. We're looking forward to something that we can point to say that, wow, it worked.
It's
so
a policy
we'll be here.
framework.
Well, you keep saying policy framework, but I'm sure that you have a role as well. We'll see how it goes. But let me take your final words, sir, about why we will not be, in 3 years, why we would not be describing what I have just described about the failure of all the interventions that we put through since 2004.
I think failure. I don't agree with you in terms
when I say
of failure,
we failed,
because we have improved with sanitation. We think we've come a long way. Solid waste has been managed. We have come up with a lot of interventions.
I think if
collection,
if we do the assessment and look at Ghana and look at where we have come from and look at where we are, maybe perhaps you could say that. But if you want to compare, do serious critical comparison of what you have achieved in terms of sanitation in Ghana with other places, you would agree with me that we have failed. But because of time, let me come to the man who is, being paid by our taxes. In fact, you are being paid by our taxes, but he is being paid by our taxes to develop the framework that you spoke about. I want to find out from you, your final word, why? Convince us and convince myself and my viewers why we will not come back here in 3 years to come and say we failed with this particular campaign.
Yeah. In as much as I would want to agree with my sister that let us not talk about the word fail. Let us not talk about the word.
We need to be hard on ourselves so that we can achieve excellence.
But
otherwise,
it's a level. You need to look at the things that you are doing to be able to pick the words or the jargons to describe yourself.
Okay.
I have very sure assurance that this vision of the president will be a success.
Amen to that.
For a long time, this whole industry was subsumed in a ministry that has many functions to perform.
Okay.
So attention to waste and sanitation issues
was very limited.
Was limited. Now you have a whole minister and a ministry on that. It's also coming out with other agencies. For instance, if you have an authority in charge of water and sanitation, it means that they are thinking on daily basis, whatever they have to do is going to be that. So in this case, we are going. From our AMA perspective, we have already started, because when you made a declaration at Manchegbuana, making that declaration, I think April or so, we have come out with a lot of programs that we want to do. We started with Samasama, which for a very long time went dead. Now, every Wednesday, we pick one area, sub-metro. We go with our people. They do the swoop and run the area. Wherever there's problem, we clear. So for me and other interventions that we are putting in place, I am very sure that we'll get them. In AMA perspective, I believe we have a team that is committed and dedicated. Some me like this, I don't sleep. I wait 24 hours. And so if I'm doing that and others are also supporting, we are sure that we can get there. And we are telling President that it's a good vision. He should just support us with the resources that he has mentioned. specialized resources, we will be there. We will be there. We know 3 years we should be able to tell Ghanaians that Ghana.
There should be a clear difference, so that you don't even have to talk.
Yes, that's
In the
what
bank, as they say.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so hopefully in 3 years we will be able to point out to the tangible reasons why we could say that this. The president has been able to achieve his dream, which, by the way, should be our dream. It's a collective work. We all have to work towards making it possible. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming in the studio. I've been here with Julius Azumah. He's Administrative Director, Waste Management Department, Accra Metropolitan Assembly. I've also been here with Ama Ofori Enchi, Executive Secretary of Environmental Service Providers Association. Thank you very much for coming.